Expert from local newspaper, Nomina's Inland Killer is still at large. After weeks of unexplained murders, the Nomina's Inland Killer is still on the rise. After little evidence had been found, a young boy states he survived one of the killer's attacks and bravely tells the story. I had a bad dream and woke up in the middle of the night, says the boy. I saw that for some reason the window was open, even though I remember it being closed. Before I went to bed, I got up one more and shut it once more. Afterwards, I slowly crawled under my covers and tried to get back to sleep. This one had a strange feeling, like someone was watching me. I looked up and nearly jumped out of my bed. There, in a little ray of light illuminating from between my curtains, were a pair of two eyes. These weren't regular eyes, they were dark, anonymous eyes. They were bordered in black and just plain out terrified me. That's when I saw his mouth, a long, horrendous smile that made every hair on my body stand up. The figure stood there watching me. Finally, after what it seemed like forever, he said it. A simple phrase, but only said it in a way a madman could speak. He said, "Go to sleep." I let out a scream. That's when he sent him at me. He pulled a knife, aiming at my heart. Then he jumped on top of my bed. I fought him back. I kicked, I punched, I rolled around trying to knock him off me. That's when my dad busted him. The man threw a knife and went into my dad's shoulder. The man probably would have finished him off if one of the neighbors hadn't alerted the police. They drove into the parking lot and ran towards the door. The man turned down the hallway. I heard a smash, like glass breaking. As he came out of my room, I saw the window that was pointing towards the back of the house was broken. I looked out to see him vanish into the distance. I can tell you one thing, I'll never forget that face, those cold, evil eyes, and that psychotic smile. They'll never leave my head. Please are still on the lookout for this man. If you see anyone that fits the description in the story, please contact your local police department. Jeff and his family had just moved into a new neighborhood. His father got him permission at work, and they thought it would be best to live in one of those fancy neighborhoods. Jeff and his brother Lou couldn't complain, though. A new, better house? What was not to love? As they were unpacking, one of the neighbors came to say, "Hello," she says. "I'm Barbara. I live across the street from you. Well, I just wanted to introduce myself and to my son." She turns around and calls her son over. "Billy, these are our new neighbors." Billy said hi and ran back to play in his yard. "Well," said Jeff's mom, "I'm Margaret, and this is my husband Peter, and my two sons, Jeff and Lou." They introduced themselves, and then Barbara invited them to her son's birthday party. Jeff and his brother were about to object when their mother said they would love to. When Jeff and his family were done packing, Jeff went up to his mom. "Mom, why would you invite us to some kid's party? If you haven't noticed, I'm not some dumb kid." Jeff, his mother said, "We just moved here. We should show that we want to spend time with our neighbors. Now, we're going to that party, and that's final." Jeff started to talk, but stopped himself, knowing that he couldn't do anything whether his mom said something. It was final. He walked up to his room and plotted down on his bed. He sat there looking at his ceiling. Suddenly, he got a weird feeling. Not much of a pain, but a weird feeling. He dismissed it as some random feeling. He heard his mother calm down to get his stuff, and he walked down to get it. The next day, Jeff walked downstairs to get breakfast and get ready for school. He sat there eating his breakfast. He once again got that feeling. This time it was stronger. It gave him a slight tugging pain, but once again he dismissed it. As he and Lou finished breakfast, they walked down to the bus stop, and they sat there waiting for the bus. Then suddenly, all of a sudden, some kids on a skateboard jumped over them, only inches above their laps, and they both jumped back in surprise. "Hey, what the hell?" The kid landed on them and turned back to them. He kicked the skateboard up and caught it with his hands. The kid seems to be about 12, only a year younger than Jeff. He was wearing a tall shirt and ripped blue jeans. Whoa, what do we have here? Some new meat?" Suddenly, two other kids appeared, and one was super skinny and the other was huge. "Well, since you're new here, I'd like to introduce ourselves. Over there is Kenneth." Jeff and Lou looked over to the skinny kid. He had a dopey face and that you'd expect from a sidekick to have, and he's Troy. They looked over at the fat kid. They talked about a tub of lard. This kid looked like he hasn't exercised since he was crawling. "And I," said the first kid, "I'm Randy." Now all of these kids in the neighborhood, there is a small price for a bus fare if you catch my drift. Lou stood up, ready to punch the lights out of the kid's eye. When one of the kid friends pulled a knife on him, "Just kiss. "I had hoped you would be more corruptive." But it seems we must do this the hard way. The kid walked up to Lou and took his wallet out of his pocket. Jeff got that feeling again. Now it was truly strong, a burning sensation. He stood up, but Lou gestured him to sit down. Jeff ignored him and walked up to the kid. Listen here, punk, you give back my little bro's wallet or else. Randy put his wallet in his pocket and pulled out his own knife. Oh, and what will you do? Just as he finished the sentence, Jeff popped the kid in the nose. As Randy reached for his face, Jeff grabbed the kid's wrist and broke it. Randy screamed and Jeff grabbed the knife from his hand. Troy and Kenneth rushed Jeff, but Jeff was too quick. He threw Randy to the ground. Kenneth lashes out at him, but Jeff ducks and stabs him in the arm. Kenneth drops his knife and fell to the ground screaming. Troy rushed him too, but Jeff didn't need the knife. He just punched Troy straight in the stomach, and Troy went down. As he fell, he picked all over. Luke could do nothing but look in amazement at Jeff. Jeff, how did you... That's all he said. They saw the bus coming and they knew they'd be blamed for the whole thing. So they started running as fast as they could. As they ran, they looked back and saw the bus driver rushing over to Randy and the others. As Jeff and Lou made it to school, they didn't dare tell what happened. All they did was just sit and listen. Lou just thought of that his brother just beating up a few kids, but Jeff knew it was more. It was something scary. As he got that feeling, he felt how powerful it was. It was the urge to hurt someone. He didn't like how that sounded, but he couldn't help the feeling happy. He felt that strange feeling go away and stay away for the entire day of school. Even as he walked home due to the whole thing near the bus stop, now and how he probably wouldn't be taking the bus anymore, he felt happy. When he got home, his parents asked how his day was, and he said in a somewhat ominous voice, it was wonderful. The next morning, he heard a knock at his front door. He walked down to find 2 police officers at the door, his mother looking back at him with an angry look.